this isn't really a shock. I mean, if you pay close enough attention, what they're doing to Donald Trump isn't a shock. What they're doing to Donald Trump was indicated several hundred miles back down the road. When they took Donald Trump off of Twitter the first time, that was a sign of the times to come. When they impeached him, when they indicted him, when they went on shows like The View or MSNBC or Real Time with Bill Maher, who people give a pass to, I don't. I don't give a shit how moderate he tries to present himself to be. I know a cuck when I see one. Anybody who would marry a woman that went by the alias Superhead is a cuck. That's just the reality, sir. And they're so loose with the way, and that's one of the reasons they won't invite me on, right? Is because I'm not one of these politicians. First of all, I'm not really a politician. I mean, I guess by default I'm a politician because I'm in politics, but I'm not really a politician. And so, we've created this culture where you got the politicians over here and you got the commentators and TV and entertainers over here. And they got to play by a different set of rules because the American populace, the people, want their politicians to act one way and they want their entertainers to act another way. And never the twain shall meet, but they do meet on rare occasion when the Bill Maher gets to talk about politics every fucking night on his entertainment show. And you got people who are in the crowd and clapping like there's actually an intellectual dialogue taking place. And sometimes there is when the real hitters like Steve Bannon show up. But for the most part, they get James Carville, who comes on and parrots the party line on a bunch of fucking propaganda. And the point I'm making is, part of their rejection and resentment towards Donald Trump is he was a hybrid. He was a guy who was somewhat of an entertainer, somewhat of a corporate and business elite that just happened to become a politician, and they don't like that because in some cases he won't play by the same rules that are expected, that have come to be expected for every other politician. And they try and pretend that brash, braggadocious sort of asshole, persona is what they don't like. No, they don't like it because it's being done to them. They don't like him being able to, they don't like a politician being able to do it. They like their politicians. The entertainment world, the commentators have always sat at a level above the politicians with this sort of leverage and ability to be able to attack politicians with no counter, with no retaliation. Now, we can say what we want to you, and then if you say anything back, you look like you're not calm, cool, and collective enough to be an elected official. Bullshit. It's bullshit. It's ridiculous. It's dishonest. It's dishonest to the highest degree. And so they didn't like Donald Trump, but they damn sure wouldn't like me. They damn sure wouldn't like me because how does Bill Maher get all? How does Bill Maher even get Bill? Bill, you married a woman and you kissing a woman in the mouth who's sucked more guys off than you could possibly anybody could fucking count. That's the truth. Who are you to be the moral arbiter or the moral authority or judge? Who are you to poke fun and make little snarky jokes? And the point I made, you can tell these guys have never been in any fights. The way they talk with no temperance, they talk with no sacred honor, they talk with no sense of consequence, and they like it that way. And they like the world that way, and they think the world operates that way, but the real world doesn't operate that way. So increasingly, they're trying to create a fictitious world. They're trying to create a fantasy world where they can operate that way with no consequences. But then you want to go to war with the Russians? You can't go to war with the Russians and not deal in reality. And this is the point that Donald Trump was trying to make. This is why they don't like him. This is why they won't like me, because I'm just gonna say, you're a cuck. I don't care if the other cucks, if the cuck brigade back there behind the scenes put their money together and threw down on you to be able to have a show and this huge audience or exposure or platform or voice or whatever. That's neither here nor there to me. I'm still dealing in reality. You're a cuck. And you could have 2 million cucks watching you a night, and they could all cheer from the peanut gallery. Wouldn't change who you are. Wouldn't change what you are. Only, only actually being something different could change who and what you are. No amount of multiplied propagation can change who and what you are. No amount of teachers at the school or guidance counselors or doctors or with the white coats or anybody telling a young boy that he's a woman can make it so. But that's the world they want to create. They don't want to have to deal in reality. Well, the only way to get you to concede, the only way to get your consent, the only way for them to get massive consent, not dealing in reality, is if they get you high. If they get you high enough not to pay close attention. That's it. They get you high and they control the narrative. They get you high, they control the narrative. They get you high, they change the narrative. They get you high, they control the narrative. They get you high, they damage control the narrative. They get you high, they change the narrative. They get you high, they control the narrative, and on and on and on and on and on. And right now, the narrative is Donald Trump is too racist to be president. Donald Trump is too rude to be a leader. Donald Trump is too unstable to have his finger on the nuclear button. Donald Trump is too any number of things. Donald Trump is too popular and too well-liked and now too vindicated for his policy approaches for them to easily discredit him. That's the only thing Donald Trump is too balls deep in on this establishment. And so the desperation is going to go to another level. They're going to pour it on.